Hello and welcome. This is Diana and you are watching Holistic Vibes. This is going to be a daily message for Life Path 33s. Take what resonates, leave the rest as always. We'll just kind of see what comes up and what is unfolding at this time. Sorry, like I've got them in my ear and they're just like, it's kind of like God's handing you the key to some kind of psychic door that's been locked or that somebody attempted to lock for you. They tried to lock it so that you couldn't gain access. They were trying to create the conditions so that you were always comparing yourself to everybody else. And it's kind of like this instinct, has turned on and you are operating out of a completely different paradigm. And you are just in this vibration of like ignatic love. It's like the love just emanates out of your pores. And like you are becoming aligned with like your partnership. I'm getting like this is for somebody who is not partnered. And you're kind of going into the present moment. And you're like, I'm not in the past. I'm not in the future. I understand that like I am an attractor and what I desire is desiring me. And like when you shifted whatever that was, like because there was some kind of an old paradigm that was pushed onto you, by parents, by coaches, by teachers, by mentors, like all these people have been essentially body jumping, housing, lower vibrational energies, right? It's common knowledge. Like when you can see in the pupils, you can see the shift because the body can no longer house the soul, in blindness, right? It's like you see everything as it is. And like when you started identifying and understanding or kind of putting their perspective in relevance to like, oh, they're full of entity attachments. Oh, they drink continuously. They were drug users at some point in time. And it's all the man-made stuff, right? And so like there's this progression of stepping into love and clearing out like the way that you are manifesting and what your foundations look like. And like, are you calm or are you like freaking out? Are you in a state of peace or are you in a state of duress? And like as you're aligning and you're playing with yourself, you're essentially aligning to your highest timeline. And so God's kind of giving you this gift of recovery, this gift of space, this understanding of like where all of these insecurities originated from, right? Because we don't realize that, like, say our parent is in an abusive situation or they are in a drug state when you are conceived, or they are in a state of angst and security deprivation, where like their day-to-day is unplanned and like what is happening is something that they could never have foreseen, right? And so like, but you as a fetus is picking up all of that energy. It's living in the vibration of your cells. Say you didn't get the proper nutrition while you were in utero, like then that is like then living and resonating of scarcity. And that is in your cells. And I'm getting like your understanding instinctually, like what is yours and what is theirs. And it's actually recalibrating you to a higher timeline. And so like, great job. Because like literally your guides, are shifting like the access that you had in your Akashic records, right? So they're essentially updating your karmic lessons. You have to ask for this, right? You have to get with somebody, you know, you can ask your Akashic record keeper, or you can ask somebody who has been given the access to read the records, right? And you have to realize too, as a 33, like, not everybody can read your records, right? They don't have the clearance and the gifts. It's kind of like we've come in with our own veil, so that people are reading what they want to read. They're not reading what is actually in your records. So they think that they tapped into your records and they've manipulated the who you are. But in actuality, it was just a form of understanding so that you could see what people are working with, right? They just said if you have a carnelian, I would definitely get it and meditate with it. And then if you have a hematite, I would also utilize that and rebalance your foundations. So you have the crow, the burning of the book, the grasshopper, the compass, death, and the empress, right? So I'm getting like there, I believe Venus is in Leo. And you have the Empress and the Emperor on the board. Yeah, somebody was trying to keep you in a toxic situation, or keep this counterpart in a toxic situation. And so, like, continue to deep dive and explore. And I always say, like, you really want to get to a state of neutrality. Like, where you don't care either way. That's going to be the thing that is going to break you free. It's going to set you free. It's going to set you free from, like, the misconceptions that other people have put on you, right? And this is happening now, like within the next, like by the next new moon, whenever that is. Because your rainbows want to be incarnated. And so show me that. Yeah, so you have to identify, like number one, is this person speaking truth, right? Because somebody is very good at manipulating the ethers or manipulating your thought forms, right? So number one, you know, have you placed your mirrors of protection? Remove whatever that is. Focus on the back of your brain. And you're going to feel like a pulsating energy. And a picture is going to pop in, and that's going to be who that person is. And if you can't see the person because you haven't met them yet, then you'll see a color, and it'll be associated with that person. And just put them in a bubble of mirrors, and then amplify and place an opalescent mirrored rainbow, right? And you contain that energy. And ask your guides to have you see truth, to see anything that is attempting to keep you in a conditioning situation, right? Where they're trying to actively keep you in your old wounds so that you're not working past or growing past you into your highest timeline, where you're able to step into your divine feminine energy fully, where your feminine and masculine energy is not impeded, right? Is there anything else that you would like from this deck? Is there anything else I need to see? Is there anything else? Thank you. Yeah, so your answer is yes, whatever you've been wanting, desiring, waiting for an outcome. Synchronicities will actually guide you to the what you desire, how it needs to unfold. And know, like, The things that have been oppressing you were only your teachers so that you could see what your enemy is working with, right? It's that whole art of war. Like, you didn't realize that you were playing dumb for the sake of seeing the way your enemies are working, but that is going to in turn activate and bring you bliss. And it's going to activate and give you more joy and more peace because you're able... It's kind of like you're able to read the room regardless what's being said. Like, you read energy. And if you would not have gone into that, that state of like having to recover, seeing people's like toxicities, seeing the way people are operating, right? You would not have been able to like overcome the paradigm of the matrix, of the receiving the codes for the violet flame, the activating light codes from Thoth, right? Some people seem to think Thoth works in only masculine energies, and that's not true. And some people seem to think that he was a negative polarity, and that's also not true. There's a lot of knowledge to the creation of... it's the emerald tablets, but like obviously like nobody's been able to like activate and shift the fourth tablet because it's sitting in a vault. However, it's been humming for quite a while. It's been humming like a lot. I don't know if there's relevance there. Maybe you've had dreams of it. But it's essentially yeah, sure. The tablet that is to create everlasting life, right? And they are not able to crack the code because darkness cannot crack the code of light. And I'm getting somebody as a sage here that actually helped write and transmute the energy of those tablets. So you know more than what a lot of people know. Like, you just know. It's kind of like that. You look at glyphs and you look at ancient artifacts and you know exactly what it means versus what they're saying it means. Because, again, it's somebody who's taking a stab in the dark of, oh, well, this is pattern and da-da-da, and this is what this means. But in actuality, they didn't live there and they're not psychic. So they don't have the abilities. And, yeah, I'm going to leave that there. There is no wrong turns. Allow your work to become your art. Divine Dragon, Mayumbaro, and your 11-year-old self, right? So I would say, like, directly, in order to go into this next reflection phase, I would step into what brought you joy as an 11-year-old, between 6 and 11. Right? And whatever your parents said would not bring you financial abundance, remember, they're love them, hate them, be indifferent about them. They planted seeds that you are supposed to overcome. That's for everybody on this planet, right? Because our biggest lessons are our family members, because number one, we spend so much time with them and we are so impressionable. You know, it's kind of like school, classmates, and parents and like family members are primarily how we get our karmic lessons. And then we get that base program of our conditioning, and then we go out into the world and we have the world reaffirm the base program that they have sold us, right? And it's a false bill of goods, right? None of the things that they've given to you are actually the core of who you are. And so you have to peel back the layer and ask God to give you the access and ability so that you can then find out what your core purpose truly is. And you can access your own Akashic records. You just have to make sure that you have no impediments, that your vibration is at 100% light, that you have no cords of attachment, that your aura is completely healed and sealed and in its highest vibration. And then start accessing like what it is for you and how it looks. And no two storylines are going to be the same, right? Somebody can... okay, yeah, thank you. Somebody, like, so the thing is like you're accessing the field for your consciousness through your own evolution. If you're still in a state where, say, you're in, they're saying remedial classes, right? Where you're in the base lesson and you haven't gone out and sought the higher frequencies of knowledge, right? Where you're not looking at other teachers that have had more knowledge than you. And I'm not saying what the Matrix has shown you are high teachers. I'm saying when you integrate within yourself and you get with your higher self and you say, I would like mentors and I would like teachers, show me who I can work with. And then those energies step forward to disseminate the information. That's really what you need to be tapping into to get to this next access point. Have faith that things are unfolding exactly the way they need to. The seeds that you have planted are kind of coming into fruition, but you do need to play more with childlike eyes. And honestly, it's the hardest state of being for somebody who has been constantly taught that the ground that they walk on is uneven, right? That there's always going to be conflict, that people are not going to like you. And instead flip it and wake up and say, I'm a magnetic being and I spark joy into everybody I meet, right? And like you have to pick up your own word salads that are going to give you a magnetic, a positive, joyful experience throughout your day, right? And when you encounter shadows, like come into a state of being and saying, I see where that resonance for some reason is still in my field and I didn't clear it out. And then come back into a point of grace and send that person a little vibration of like spark and say, I'm sorry I angered your demons. They do need to leave. However, like it doesn't need to come within my field. So I'm still stepping into my magnetic state of being. I'm changing my radio frequency, right? And you're stepping into that higher timeline and it's a conscious effort. And whenever you find this reading, like this whole week is going to be something you're going to have to like identify, revisit, and then identify again and allow it to keep raising its state of consciousness. Allow your energies and your frequencies to constantly ignite so that you're stepping into that like greater awakening, a new transformation. So I'm going to leave that there. If something in this resonated with you, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. If you are looking for a reading, I am currently accepting clients through sessions or through readings or entity removals. Until then, be well and ciao.